A few months ago, I discovered a new product. It's an alternative to the silver pens that we've always used to mark on leather. I like the silver pens, but there are certain situations where the ink either doesn't come off or it's difficult to remove. You really have to be careful using the silver ink pens on veg tan leather, anything with a really open, naked finish, because sometimes you just can't remove it. And also if it sets too long, even on a glossy finish, you'll have problems getting the silver ink off. So what I discovered is a heat erasable pen. The ink actually removes with heat. But every time I talk about these new pens and how wonderful they are, a quilter always jumps in and says, don't use them, be careful, because the ink markings return. So I did some research, and what I found is that on cloth, once the fabric gets cold, the ink markings do come back, and once they come back, they're permanent and you can't erase them again. So that's on cloth. The reaction from the company that makes the pens was to say that the pens were not tested or designed to be used on fabric, and so they really don't care. However, it doesn't appear that anyone's ever tried or tested using them on leather. They weren't designed for leather, but I think they work great. So we're going to do an experiment together, and I'm going to be as surprised by the results as you are, because I haven't done this experiment before now. What I have here is a piece of knit fabric, a piece of woven fabric, a piece of veg tan leather with a very open grain and naked finish, a light colored piece of glossy leather, and a dark colored piece of glossy leather. I'm going to use the pink to mark on the dark colored leather. And the pink doesn't show up real well, but it's the best option of these pens for dark colored leather. However, within a few weeks I will actually have these pens in white. I'm excited about that. So there's pink. Put a big blue X on this piece. A blue X on this piece. And there we go. We've got X's on all of the fabric and the leather using the heat erasable pens. Now this is where the magic happens. Watch this, it's so cool. Heat gun. And it's just gone. You will notice that on the brown it leaves kind of a chalky residue, which you can wipe away. I just use spit there, but you can also use a leather conditioner. Spit is actually the greatest thing for removing any ink markings. And now what I'm going to do is take all my little pieces that I marked on that have no visible markings now, and I'm going to go put them in the freezer. That should get them cold in a hurry, and we'll see what happens. Alright, I just ran and got everything out of the freezer, and let's see what happened. On the light colored leather, it's just faintly visible again. On the dark colored leather, we still have those white chalky marks. And on the veg tan, this is always going to be your problem with veg tan. You're going to get grooves from the pen. You're going to actually dig into the leather if you're not careful and do it very, very lightly. And so that's mostly what we have here, is just the groove from where I dug into the leather. There's a tiny, tiny bit of ink visible right up here. Other than that, it's gone. On the knitted fabric, we have a return of some of the ink. And the woven fabric is even worse. We can see the ink again. Now I'm going to see what happens when I try the heat gun again. So the ink markings disappeared the second time on the fabric. They didn't appear to be permanent after all, but I can see how it would be really annoying to have ink keep reappearing. So yes, the ink does disappear the second time. Okay, so I'm going to use Bic 4 and just remove that chalky residue. Obviously you can't do that to fabric. We can't use Bic 4 with the fabric. but I'm going to place these pieces that have had the ink markings removed with heat, put in the freezer, and then they kind of came back a little, and then I removed any residue with Bic 4. I'm going to put these back in the freezer and see if any ink reappears at all this time, because I don't think it's going to. Okay, I'm back for the final results of the experiment. On the fabric, the markings have returned. They were erased with heat twice and they have returned. If I were a quilter, I definitely would not use these pens because I don't want the markings returning every time I leave my quilt in a cold car or something. That would not be good. On the leather, once I use the Bic 4, the markings are completely gone. There's not even a trace of them. The product that I was using on the leather was Bic 4. It's just a leather conditioner. Any brand would work. It's something thin, sort of like hand lotion. In fact, sometimes if I'm desperate, I use it for hand lotion. So here's my verdict for the little heat erasable pens. If you're going to use them on fabric, be very careful. In fact, I don't really advise using them on fabric. For leather, the little heat erasable ink pens appear to be absolutely fantastic. They remove easily with heat. You can wipe away any residue that's left with a little bit of leather conditioner, and then once you've done that, there's no issue with the ink returning at all. There's ranch dressing soda. You want some of that?
I want to go to heaven, so no.
You know what? I was not videoing that whole time.
Okay, are you actually videoing now? I want this part where I ask, are you actually videotaping to be in the final cut? So we're at Pops, which is on Route 66, and we have discovered the state drink of Oklahoma, which is ranch dressing flavored. Take a gander. Here it is for all of your pizza needs. Now you can not only dip your pizza, but you can drink the ranch dressing.
Is this how it is when it's over? Between a woman and man, must tomorrow just keep on being today all over again? Must tomorrow just keep on being today all over again. If you're a current country music fan and you like some of these guys that are almost boy bandish, but one of them's from Pitcher, Oklahoma, and he's a buddy of ours. I've played music with him over the years, a little band called Rascal Flatts. We're going to take one of their songs and grass it up just a little bit. When I lose my smile and my thoughts get jumbled, when the air and the BS get too thick, I can't take a breath without getting sick. Had enough of this concrete jungle. I drop my truck and drive. I pick up my baby. She jumps in with a kiss and a hey. We exit off that old highway. Sometimes you gotta go beyond the pavement. You gotta go deep, way on back, across a few creeks and a couple little shacks. You gotta get lost, way on out, crickets and frogs. You get the close now, and then you kick it in the four-wheel drive and you run out of road. And you go, and you go, and you go, till you hear a banjo. Well, it ain't on no map, and I'm glad it is now. Leave the phone and the GPS, so Those satellites ain't found it yet. Their own little piece of heaven hidden. You gotta go deep. Way on back. You gotta go deep, way on back, across the creeks, and a couple of little shacks. Gotta get lost, way on out, crickets and frogs. You get folks around, then you take it in a four-wheel drive and you run that road. Then you go, till you hear banjo.